Hello, my name is Ramon Sina, and I will be presenting on the Marshall Plan. When we look at the Marshall Plan, we have to ask ourselves three questions. What was it? Why was it implemented? And what was the result? So the Marshall Plan was officially known as the European Recovery Program, and it was an initiative done by the United States to help out war-torn European countries. And the reason why they decided to have such large aid program to these European countries was because they learned from their past mistakes after the First World War, and how seeing that these harsh sanctions and lack of economical help to Germany helped fuel the rise of national extremism, leading to the rise of the Nazis and Hitler. And also, but more relevantly to their time, they feared that communism would sweep into Europe, especially in these more poor and war-torn countries. These pictures here are photos of Dresden, which is a city in Germany that was very heavily affected by the war. As you can see, the city is more or less destroyed, and the people there really did need aid. And if the aid wasn't given to them, another nationalist movement could have arisen, similar to the Nazis, or Soviet communism might have influenced the country even more. How much aid are we talking about? So the United States gave over $12 billion at the time for aid to Europe. In modern day money, that's approximately $120 billion. The plan operated from April 8th, 1948, and it was also considered on the shield for the reconstruction with help from the United States, is what it says here in the German poster, and in the big red letters it says "Help Europe." So what were the goals? The goals of the United States were to rebuild war-torn Europe, to prevent nationalist uprisings like the one that brought Hitler to power, and more importantly and relevant, the spread of communism. Communist ideology was spreading throughout Eastern Europe, and the United States wanted to prevent that from moving westward. The background, I keep mentioning the fact that without European aid, Germany did end up supporting a really extreme nationalist movement, which led to the rise of Hitler. So background on this is the German economy after World War I was in shambles. There was discontent among the populace. Germany, before the rise of Hitler and before the rise of the First Republic, was ruled by a Kaiser, or an emperor, and Germany's last emperor, Wilhelm, abdicated his throne in 1918. After the Weimar Republic, which was Germany's first republic, was set up, and when it was unsuccessful, the German people turned to the radical groups like the Nazis. They turned to these groups because they didn't feel that the democratic process was really working for them. And if the Marshall Plan wasn't set up, similar movements like this could have happened across Europe. And to show the real economic suffering that Germany suffered, there's a picture of children playing with stacks of the German currency as if it were toy blocks. So why was it implemented in the first place? Well, the economic crisis in England forced England to cut off aid to Turkey and Greece, and the American president at the time was very worried that when the Soviet Union would take advantage of England's weakness and not being able to provide aid to these countries and go ahead and provide aid to those countries themselves, then strengthening Soviet influence in the area. And once Turkey and Greece would fall to communism, they would just keep moving and moving westward. And what was the end result? So the end result of the Marshall Plan stemmed the spread of communism westward and allowed the Anglo-American Western ideals of democracy and free market values to Western Europe. We can look at it this way because now the majority of Western Europe is now generally democratic and follow these same Western values that Anglo-American ideals are based upon.